Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Saunav and I love learning languages and linguistics. And today in this video, as you can tell by the title and everything, we're going to talk about the languages of South Sudan. So yeah, let's begin the video right away. Now, before getting into languages, let's learn a bit about South Sudan. Now, South Sudan is a country located in East Central Africa, as you can see on the map, bordering countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, CAR, DRC, and Sudan obviously. Juba is the capital and the largest city of the country, but they also have cities like Bor, Bentiu, and Rumbek, which are across the country. And it's the newest country in the world, gaining independence from Sudan on the 9th of July 2011. And it's one of the most unstable countries in the world politically, and also not to mention about corruption. But no, that's not what we discuss here now. We don't talk about politics, no, not at all. We're just here to discuss languages. So yeah, and yeah, now enough info about the country. Now let's talk about the languages. Now the official language of the country is English, meaning it's the language they use in government, in education, and everything. And yeah, they speak English with a slight accent, which is influenced by like some local languages, which we will talk about in a bit. One of the features that I find interesting about their English accent is like the replacement of for pa. So instead of saying people, they be like people. And yeah, here is a clip of someone from South Sudan speaking English. And yeah, let me know how much you can understand from it.
Then from there we go to the Masai market, which is the souvenir market. Then from there we drive across the city. We go to the new bridge.
New bridge.
Cross the Nile. Then come back using the old bridge.
Juba Creole. Now in South Sudan, there are a lot of tribes with different languages. There's like more than 60 languages. And yeah, so Juba Creole works as a lingua franca for the country. And it's basically a simplified version or a Creole form of Arabic. It basically started with the Sudanese Arabic, which is a dialect that they speak in Sudan, obviously. And yeah, it mixed with like, a lot of local languages from South Sudan. And over time, it just became a new form of speaking. And yeah, later on, it just became a new dialect or a Creole form of Arabic, not just a broken language, you feel me? So yeah, that's basically the story with that. And yeah, it works as a lingua franca for like the people of the country. So mainly they speak English and Juba Arabic. Now let's go over some indigenous languages of the country. Dinka. Now Dinka is the language spoken by the largest tribe in the country, Dinka. The Dinka people are also considered the tallest people in the world, by the way. It is the most popular language in South Sudan and it has around like 4 to 5 million speakers, and it's a Nilotic language, which I will talk about in a bit. And yeah, it's a tonal language, so you can just imagine how complicated it's gonna be for someone like me who has tones. And yeah, it has like complex vowel system, kind of like saying sing, sang, sung in English, but like more in a systematic way. It uses VSO, like verb, subject, object, instead of SBO, subject, verb, object. Kind of crazy, right? So instead of saying I made a video, they say like made I a video. Okay, let's talk about Nilotic languages real quick. Now, Nilotic is a language family of languages spoken mainly in East Africa like Kenya, Tanzania, Sudan, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and many more. And yeah, based on what I've found, there are around like 30 to 40 million speakers of Nilotic languages. And yeah, it includes languages like Tuo, Dinka, Nuer, Maasai, Siluk, you know, a lot of languages. Now, Nilotic is a language family on its own, but some linguists might debate and say, no, it belongs to a broader language family called Nilo-Saharan. But for the sake of this video, we'll just talk about the main features of Nilotic languages without touching on like Nilo-Saharan languages. It's just a debate, and I just mentioned it just so you know. So yeah, let's talk about some features of Nilotic languages. One of the features that I like about Nilotic languages is like VSO. Now, around 85% of the languages in the world use the pattern SOV or SBO, like subject, object, verb, subject, verb, object. It's super common in European languages, in Asian languages, and whatnot. But Nilotic languages use VSO, like verb, subject, object. So the verb comes first, like made I a video, like instead of saying I made a video. And this pattern VSO is only found in like 9% of the languages in the world, mainly in Nilotic languages. And other than that, I can think of like Irish and Welsh. Other than that, I can't think of anything that uses VSO. I like Nilotic for using VSO. Number two, complex vowel system. Now, it's a system where you change a vowel of a word and it suddenly changes the meaning. Kinda like how you say sing, sang, sung, but in Nilotic languages, it's much more systematic than English. And pronunciation can be a little tough because many Nilotic languages are tonal. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit hard for me if I ever decide to learn any Nilotic language, because like Chinese was hard for me because of like tones and I gave up on it. So yeah, and also not to mention the morphology of Nilotic languages. And yeah, that's all about Nilotic languages. Now let's talk about some other languages of the country of South Sudan. Number two, Nuer. Now it's a Western Nilotic language, the same family as Dinka. It is spoken by like around 1.4 million people in South Sudan, making it the second most spoken indigenous language just after Dinka. and it also has like a few thousand speakers outside. And yeah, it's a Nilotic language, so it has like complex vowel system and tones like in Dinka. And yeah, speaking of Dinka and Nuer, they are close linguistically. They are from the same language family, but like they are not mutually understandable. Meaning, if you put two people of like each languages in a room, they can understand each other, although they are like super close linguistically. Maybe because of like some political manipulation between tribes. I don't know why, but like they're just not mutually understandable. And yeah, we don't talk about politics, so let's just not get into that. Let's move on with other languages. Other than that, there's like more than 60 indigenous languages in the country, like Zande, which is the largest non-Nilotic language, meaning South Sudan doesn't only speak Nilotic languages, but also some other families. And yeah, in addition to that, they have some languages like Bari language, Anuak, and Siluk. And yeah, furthermore, they have some languages which are like endangered, like Lokoya and Bongo. And yeah, it's a country that recently got independence from Sudan like 15 years ago. So some people might also speak like Sudanese Arabic, right? Especially in the north near the border. Also, people living near the Ethiopian border might speak Amharic, and also some people living in the Kenyan border might speak Swahili. It's common sense, right? If you live near the border, you speak the languages of both countries, right? I mean, not always, but you get the point. So South Sudan is not just a random African country that no one cares about. It's a country which is linguistically super diverse and interesting. And yeah, speaking of South Sudan, okay, if this video gets more than like 100,000 views, I will learn one language from South Sudan, except English and Juba Creole. And also, if this video gets more than like 500,000 views and 50,000 likes, I will learn like one endangered language from South Sudan. Okay, speaking of South Sudan, I have a joke. Now, most flights to South Sudan depart from like Kenya. So if you want to go to South Sudan, you will have to go to Kenya or some like other countries, but let's just say Kenya. And yeah, you are at the terminal of a airport in Kenya wanting to go to like South Sudan. So you go to the immigration and whatnot. You show them your visa. You show them your tourist visa because like you are gonna be a tourist there, right? And then yeah, they will look at your visa and be like, tourism. I thought you were going there for like humanitarian aid. Who goes to South Sudan for tourism? There's nothing. You will have to explain like all your reasons, like why you are going there and whatnot. You have to explain like that you are a YouTuber, that you want to make videos like surprising natives and all that, and I find that. Also, another one. Now, South Sudan is a linguistically diverse and interesting country, right? Now, let's say like you managed to learn one interesting language from South Sudan. Now, you want to make a video surprising natives, right? And what's the best way to do so other than like going to the country? But you can't because like South Sudan is like extremely dangerous for tourists, and like yeah, you will need like a pile of documents just to visit there, and to record videos you will need like a lot of permits, a lot of like documents. It's the least camera friendly country in my opinion, even less camera friendly than North Korea, because in North Korea you are told like what to record and what not, but in South Sudan no, there's no laws, there's nothing. You just have to be careful on your own. If you make one mistake, you are detained and you have to explain like everything. And yeah, that's all I had for today. Hope you found this interesting, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.